Glacier National Park was founded on a mission of preservation, a sanctuary for wilderness designed to remain wild for future generations. In the park's infancy, the landscape offered only 3 ways to reach its rugged interior: horseback, hiking, or by water. Before the roads were built, boat travel offered the most direct view of the park's inner beauty. The massive basins and jagged peaks carved by moving glaciers. These lakes are volatile, and for a century the little chief has defied the elements. Supported by a dedicated team, she remained strong after 100 years. This is the story of her Centennial Restoration and a challenge for another century. The Little Chief isn't just a local icon. It's a cornerstone of American maritime history.
This was the very first boat in the state of Montana to be recognized on the National Register of Historic Properties, which is really pretty cool. It really is kind of a throwback to the beginning of Glacier National Park and what it was like here in the early 1900s.
Originally launched in 1926 as the Rising Wolf, her narrow design was a functional response to the high winds of the crown of the continent.
She was built for the waters of Glacier Park, and Billy Swanson knew of the operating conditions that existed on the waters that she'd be operating on. These boats are operating on lakes with a great deal of wind, and they can be super rough. We can have 6-7 foot waves, but because of their shape, it gave them an incredibly smooth ride characteristic. They just split the waves. So Billy Swanson, he just nailed it. He drew pictures on a napkin and presented it to James J. Hill and said, you know, this is what your boat's going to look like. But he did build the boats without having any construction plans.
In some ways, the legacy of maintaining the boat for that long is just as extraordinary as somebody building a boat, because I guarantee you that Swanson had no intention of this boat lasting more than 10 or 15 years.
The boats today are actually structurally better than they were when they were originally built. We inspect the boats thoroughly every year. We've just really kept up with the boats, and that's why she's still here at 100 years. So they are operating in a harsh environment. The ultraviolet from the sun and just being in the water, it takes its toll on the boats.
By the time she returned to the shop for her centennial, the maintenance that had sustained her was no longer enough. To ensure she saw another century, the team had to look past the paint and reconstruct the very foundation of the boat. This isn't a modern repair, where you can simply order a part from a catalog. Every component of a 100-year-old vessel must be reimagined and built by hand, an exhaustive effort that requires a specialized breed of craftsmen.
There's shipwrights involved, there's mechanics involved, there's cosmetic work that goes on, there's welding, there's electrical, there's hours and hours of sanding and paint prep and paint application, and it's a giant team effort, and it just couldn't be done if we didn't have a wonderful professional team that I have to make this happen year after year.
The restoration begins by stripping the vessel down to its bare bones and measuring every line. In a restoration this precise, there are no blueprints, only the original weathered wood to serve as a guide.
The beauty of a wood boat is you can repair, but like each piece is sort of replaceable. It's not quite going to the factory and buying a piece and installing it, but you're making each piece individually.
Crafting those individual pieces requires an exhausting search for the perfect raw material.
Who do I get white oak from for bending into frames? It has to be green. It can't be dried. It can't be kiln dried, especially. And it needs to be flat sawn, and it needs to be like cut out of a certain section of log, out of an old timber that has no sapwood or heart or checking or any of that stuff. There's a lot of specific things to look at. Kind of have to visualize it, right? It's a lot of spatial awareness. You can't just go buy one of these boards, obviously, from the store. You're taking this cedar, these raw cedar planks cut out of a tree, and you're putting your pattern on there. You know, the rolling bevels along these planks, they're not just a square edge of the board that goes from stem to stern, because it's got that shape that it's getting steam bent to and twisted onto. That bevel, it's a rolling bevel, you know, maybe it's square right here, but a couple feet later it's going to be 3 degrees, and then 5 degrees, and then 10 degrees, and 12, and you have to record all that information and carve that into your plank edges.
A little bit off, and it's loose right there, but it's tight right there. It's tight all the way up there.
So you're going to take a pattern of a plank on the boat, but it's the inside of the plank, and now you have to kind of develop the way the plank grows with its bevels to the outside of it. So you take that pattern, you flip it upside down. It's on the back side of that board, but the sapwood of the board has to be in the boat, so you have to flip that. And it becomes a lot really quick, right? All this stuff, and then you soak it in water overnight, and then I put it in bags and steam them on the boat. Traditionally, you'd put it in a box away from the vessel, and you'd take it out real quick after an hour of steaming it. It's usually an hour of steaming per inch of thickness, and you'd slap it on the boat as quick as you can, but oftentimes after that 5 minutes has passed, the lignin in that wood has already kind of cooled and hardened, and you're not going to get much memory out of that plank.
Down there. So I'm kind of over bending that because it's gonna
You kind of bend it on there and steam it and then let it cool overnight.
Don't see too much checking or cracking.
And then you take it off the boat, and it's this big, twisted, weird shape of wood that looks all cattywampus and funky, but it is what it is, and you start fitting it. And you use little 10/1000ths of an inch feeler gauge, and that has to fit that seam tight the whole length of that plank. You know, the whole vessel, all those, there's usually 14 planks per side of our boats, and they run the whole length of it. So there's like miles of seams on these things. Maybe not miles, maybe quarter mile. There's just a lot to it. And that's just a plank. The planking, I use Western red cedar, which is really rot resistant and bends very well, and it's just a light, nice wood to work with. You know, you can't just get any Western red cedar. It has to, again, be kind of older, tighter rings. You know, I need to be looking at and counting my rings with a magnifying glass, not with my fingertips. You know, they need to be tight, and they can't have sapwood or heartwood or any of that stuff.
Once the pieces are set, the whole is sealed using the lost art of caulking, driving cotton into the seams. It's a technique that creates a living whole, one that breathes and shifts with the lake, maintained by a trade that has remained largely unchanged for centuries. The work isn't finished when the last wooden pieces are fastened back into place. As the shipwrights step back, the rest of the shop moves in, a specialized team dedicated to the finer details. Some members begin the meticulous task of staining and replacing the mahogany trim. Meanwhile, the mechanical team focuses on the heart of the vessel, carefully overhauling the same motor that's powered her for decades, ensuring her future is as reliable as her past. It is grueling, dusty, and physically demanding work. And for the team, the reward isn't just a finished boat. It's the knowledge that they've added their own chapter to a 100-year-old story.
I'm just thankful to be here and be part of Little Chief's life, and such a big part of her life, and that, you know, getting to breathe another 50, 80 years into a boat like that is a really good feeling.
The satisfaction of a job well done is quickly replaced by the tension of the trek back to the water. After months on stands in the shop, the 45-foot boat must be watered and then carefully loaded and hauled across the Continental Divide. It's a slow, white-knuckle journey down the narrow highways. The crew is moving a century of history through the very mountains that watched her original launch in 1926. Returning the Little Chief to St. Mary is the final test. Before the boat can be launched, the Rising Sun boat docks must be installed for the year. Launching the boat is no easy task.
Hopefully the mountain gods smile upon us and give us some good calm weather that morning, and it'll be pretty easy going. But we've launched on days where it's not calm and it gets a little crazy.
A lot of parts and pieces have to fall into place before the boat can return to the water. The trailer hits the glacial water and the Little Chief floats on her own for the first time in months. The transformation is complete. The skeleton from the shop is gone, and in its place is a vessel that looks, feels, and moves exactly as she did a century ago. The restoration of the Little Chief is about more than preserving a machine. It's about honoring a promise made a century ago to keep this wilderness and its history intact.
It's cool because it's probably working harder, carrying more passengers now than ever before. But that experience that they have when they're out on the lake is really authentic to what it would have been like 100 years ago.
Maintaining history is important. People still get experience at hotels, and they are as they were 100 years ago. They still get to ride on the original boats, had the same experience today as they had 100 years ago. They can still ride on the jammer buses, and our culture is important to maintain that. And so that's part of the reason why we've kept the boats.
The Little Chief has survived her first 100 years. Not by luck, but by the dedication of a team that refused to let history fade. A century of legacy is secured behind her. And out here on these volatile waters, her duty to the next generation continues.